queens, y'all.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
It's Cree, the creative of Vibing with Cree, and I'm sitting here with Mikeya, Janee.
Hello.
How we feeling today?
I'm feeling like, yeah, I could do anything that I put my mind to.
Okay.
That's how I'm feeling.
That's a feeling.
It is a feeling.
I like it.
How are you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel good?
I feel good. I feel like, yeah, conquering the day.
In every area, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And it's a journey.
It is, but a journey that we don't regret.
Right, because what is life?
A journey.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. So, I love your first question. It says, who is Mikeya Janee? But before you get to that question, I want to just tell you what I'm gathering from things like listening to the Throne Talk podcast and just my interactions with you. But you give me like a girl's girl. Like you're like every woman's cheerleader. And you want to see women win. You also give me this person who wants to inspire people in general to just be their most authentic, best self. I get that from you. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely. And I think it's a role that I did not ask for.
Yeah.
It's definitely a role that I didn't predict or plan for myself. It's just who I am. You know, it's the thing that I do without even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Everybody feels supported when they're around me. And I kind of peeped that later on in life. I was just like, why are you always in everybody's face? But it's like, no, you really genuinely want to see people, not just women, but people win.
Exactly, and that's why I said just people in general.
Yeah. And I'm now that I'm approaching 30 and I've lived a little bit, almost 3 decades, now I am, just taking ownership of it. Like, this is who I am. There's no faking. This ain't fake. This is the real stuff. And so I will say that. I agree 100%. I have no disagreements. I'm definitely a girl's girl, a people's person, everybody's cheerleader. Yeah, I am.
So who is Mikeya Janee?
She's so complex, girl. She's very complex. If we're just talking about the resume, if we're going off of, like just looking on paper, she's the singer, the songwriter, the pageant coach, the fitness instructor. She's the public speaker. But really, who I am as a person as far as like characteristics and who people don't see behind closed doors, I am still very much the people's person. But I feel deeply, like very deeply, to the point where I don't want to feel that deep sometimes. I'm like, come back to surface, baby.
I can relate.
Come back to surface.
I can relate.
And I feel everybody's emotions too. I'm very empathetic. And I used to take on people's problems as my own, carrying other people's weight. And I'm now just getting to the point where it's like, this is not my responsibility. I'm just here to intercede and support. So that's part of who I am. I'm very chill. I'm an overthinker. I'm definitely an overthinker. I'm always in my head. And because I have so many emotions, I have to have this brain to process what's actually going on with me. I love to cook.
Me too.
I do. I love feeding people. So I'm really big on people and community and groups and stuff like that. Okay. So I love feeding people and making everybody happy. Everybody loves food and they love good food.
Yes.
So,
food is love.
Food, family, music, of course.
Of course.
Everything is music to me. So those are just things that make up me. Okay. Of course, there's more. But I'm a deep feeler, empathetic, overthinker. I love food, love family, love community, all the things. All the things.
Sounds like a beautiful person.
Okay, Nose. Okay.
So let us get into what GTA is, the purpose, who does GTA serve?
GTA, the reason why we are here today, actually. So GTA stands for Glory Throne Academy. I have a lot of things that I'm doing. GTA is not one of those things that I had I didn't know it was going to come to me, but it came. But Glory Throne Academy is just basically an environment where we encourage individuals to live their lives intentionally and purposefully with confidence too. This life could be very overwhelming. And I know the word purpose is overwhelming in itself. When people hear purpose, it's just like, oh my God, like you're supposed to have everything figured out, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
But I would like to approach life in pieces. So Glory Throne Academy is just helping individuals, whatever endeavor they have or, whatever they aspire to do. We want to help people do that thing intentionally and with confidence, because naturally that's who I am. I am a cheerleader, and I'm also a person. This is going back to the question about who Mikeya Janee is. I'm also a person who loves to do things well. I don't play, and I had to, really relax a little bit, because sometimes I could be too uptight and want to have it all together. But I've learned how to, direct that in a good way and just be, and I've realized that I'm just a person of intention. I love things to be done intentionally and well. And so that's what I want to help individuals with, and that's what Glory Throne Academy is about. It's just helping people to do that thing, whatever that thing is they're called to do, or that's going to help make up their overall purpose. Help them do it intentionally and with confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, girl.
Okay. Those things are very important. Very important.
Yeah.
Yes. And who would you say it served? Let's say there's 3 types of people that would go there. And who are those people?
It's definitely the young woman. Definitely the young woman, probably coming out of high school. Definitely people in our age range, probably like that 25 to like 40 age range, that's male and female, who is in business, actually pursuing a dream or whatever. Definitely for that age group, for sure. The millennials, as they would call it. And, there's no discrimination. Probably a little older people, too, if they want to come into it. I don't turn nobody away. But definitely for young women coming into their womanhood, and I will say 25 to like 40 men and women. I would say that's exactly what the Glory Throne Academy is about.
Okay, cool.
Or the group that we would target.
Cool. I think that's so important. I was listening to your album earlier,
Okay,
the 17 to 24.
Come on, 17 to 24.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about, is that the person that would go, who you were, like you had songs with the age by them, like this age range, stepping into womanhood.
Oh.
This is the person I would serve.
Yeah, so 17 to 24 was a very strange year, and was actually when I was heavy into pageantry. And so when pageantry is presented to you, when you're in pageantry, it seems as if, like, if you're a candidate and you want to win, that you have to have it all together. And I guess when I stepped into that world, it was just kind of like, oh my God, I got to have it all together. And so it was kind of like a reinforcement, a positive reinforcement, of course. And I had to start making decisions. And I'm just like, okay, I got to start making decisions. So 17, 24 was definitely those years where I felt the pressure of feeling like I got to have life together. I'm coming out of high school at 17. You hit your 20s and everybody's just like, you got to have your 20s figured out.
You better have it together before 30.
Right. And then, you're 25, you're halfway to, like, you're almost to 30. And so those years were very, very critical for me. And so I guess it is going back to what I said about the young woman probably coming out of high school. And then at 24, you have 25, and then start from 25 to 40, that age group that I feel like that Glory Throne Academy would cater to.
Okay. Okay, and that leads so great into our next question.
Come on, question.
So let's get more into your pageant experience. Like, what got you started? When you was like, yeah, I'm going to be a pageant girl, or whatever it was you said to yourself.
So I was just, it was very simple. I was sitting in my living room watching Miss America, and I was just like, I could do that. And I've always been the girl I've always been up for a challenge. And I was just like, yeah, I could do that. I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to be Miss America. You know, I'm going to be Miss America. And then she was just like, oh, okay. You know, it kind of went over her head. She was just like, oh, okay, you know. Because kids say they're going to do stuff all the time. Well, I wasn't a kid. I was definitely a teenager at the time, 17, 18 years old. And so I went to church, and my youth pastor, her name is Melissa Rowland, she gave me a word, and we were actually having corporate prayer, and we were walking around the church having prayer. And she said, I see a crown on your head. And I'm like, okay. And so it piqued my interest. I'm just like, oh my God, I just said a couple of days ago that I want to be Miss America. So I'm just like, okay, girl. And then she said, but it's not a regular crown. It's the crown of glory, which is crazy because I have the Glory Throne Academy. She said, I see a crown of glory, and I didn't understand what the totality of that word meant, but now it's coming to fruition. I thought it was all about winning, but long story short, I was sitting down. I said I wanted to be Miss America, and then I just started looking up stuff on Google, like how do I become Miss America, and of course I had to compete for Miss South Carolina, but I can't just get to Miss South Carolina. Yeah. I have to actually win a local title to go to Miss South Carolina. And so I had did a couple of pageants starting in like the end of 2013. Going into 2014, I competed for the Miss Florence and Miss Magic City pageant.
Okay.
And so I competed. I didn't place at all. I got Miss Congeniality.
Okay.
Right?
Wait a minute. For somebody who does not exactly know, what is Miss Congeniality? Because you said you didn't place, but what exactly does that mean in the context of the pageant world?
She's just the person that makes everybody feel seen, happy, secure, safe, being nice, generous. Pretty much the stuff that we was talking about earlier. So going back to what I was saying as far as like, this is not fake. It's pretty much who I am. And so I was awarded Miss Congeniality. A couple of weeks went by, and I was just like, oh, my God, I can't. Because it was just so hard to break into the system.
Yeah.
I was talking to my best friend about this this morning, and I was just like, it was so hard for me to break into the system. And it's almost as if God just kind of like found a way for me to get into it because I needed to be there. And so what happened was, all right, all cameras looking. So I'm going to just break this down for you, how I got to compete for Miss South Carolina. All right, here we go. I came in 5th place that night at the Miss Florence, Miss Magic City pageant. The girl who won Miss Florence, there was a girl. So there were 2 titles given that night, Miss Florence, Miss Magic City. Miss Florence is here. Miss Magic City is here. The first runner-up is here in the middle. Everybody see? The second runner-up is here. And then there goes me, Mikeya. There she goes. So, unfortunately, something happened with Miss Florence and Miss Magic City. So, they forfeited their title. They're no longer Miss Florence nor Miss Magic City. They're gone. So, who's next to go up? The first runner-up, right? Everybody paying attention. The first runner-up is the next person to go up. She had actually went to compete for a pageant the following week. Mm-hmm. She won the pageant. So she can't take on these titles because she had won Miss Hartsfield. Okay. Hi, Glenda. How are you? So now, who are the 2 people to take up the titles of Miss Florence and Magic City? So the girl who got second runner-up, she got Miss Florence. I got Miss Magic City, which is a strip club name. They said Florence is the Magic City. I don't know. I was just happy to go to Miss South Carolina. I'm not sure. So yeah, I was crowned Miss Magic City, and I'll post a picture for y'all to see my crowning moment, which was actually in my bathroom. Amen. Or they sent the crown. They sent the crown to me, and I took my first picture in the bathroom with the crown and sash on. They said Miss Magic City.
Oh God! Anywho, not the bathroom.
So now here I am. I'm going to Miss South Carolina, June 2014. Wow. I'm there, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm here.
I'm here.
And they knew I was here. They knew I was there. I made my presence known the very first day that I got there. I did. I made it very, very known.
So how did you make it? How did you make it known? When you say that, what do you mean?
So I talked about this on the podcast about finding your rhythm.
Yes, I love that episode.
Yeah, and I just didn't know what to do. But I know how to sing. I've been singing all my life. And so when it came to the talent portion, now mind you, parents, everybody, directors, are there. This is like an open rehearsal. So everybody can see this rehearsal. So it's time for me to perform my talent. And I get on stage with a sundress, barefoot, and I sung Summertime by Fantasia Barrino, the Fantasia Barrino rendition from American Idol. So, I felt like I did good. I thought it was great, but I didn't know there was a rhythm that they already had, which was, probably stand with the pole or sing with the mic stand and have the formal evening gown, all the things.
Yeah.
And there's a certain etiquette and there's a certain way that you stand on that stage. Me, I didn't, and I think people were looking at me like, the audacity, like, who is this girl? The fact that she's not only doing it, but so confident in it. But I think that was the magic about me. Come on, Magic City. Yeah, that was the magic about me. I just, for one, I had no earthly idea what I was doing, but I've always been like, if I like it, I'm going to do it well. And I did do it well. Even though you didn't understand it, I did it very well. And so, of course, people who saw me who had been in the system for a while, they were just like, oh, my God, you did amazing. But let's do this. And I mentioned on the podcast, I said, I think it's better for us to suggest, or I think it's better for us to not try to change what people want to do, but to see how we can help them do what they want to do better. Mm-hmm. And I think instantly it was just like, do away with all that. But I was like, what about just want to go on the stage barefoot, So, yeah, that's how I made my presence known. I know that was a long answer.
So I was really enjoying listening to your podcast. I learned a whole lot about, what the pageant girls go through, all the things we don't see beyond the sashes and the stage, the crowns. And you faced a lot of challenges. So I'm trying to figure out, what makes you want to go back into that and be a pageant coach in this world?
So I got a lot out of it, right? I benefited a lot from it. But like you said, as I expressed on the podcast, there were a lot of challenges, a lot of things that I didn't realize that I was facing because I was just so focused on winning. And that's what that's where a lot of them are now. They're just focused on winning, that they're not even realizing what they're actually in, and that it could potentially drain them or destroy them if they're not mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually ready for what they are actually in. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why I feel, going back to what I said earlier about, my youth pastor giving me that word about the crown of glory. I do believe that God allowed me to go into the system to gain my own perspective of it, to get my own experience of it, to process my own emotions and thoughts about it, and so I could come back into it and help these girls go through it, because everybody doesn't have the mentality that I have. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't process emotions that I have. I know a lot of people think that gifts are, singing, songwriting, dancing, all the things, right? Playing basketball. But I really believe that having a certain mentality is a gift. And because of the mentality that I have and my ability to process certain things and emotions and thoughts, I think I was able to withstand the challenges that I went through in the pageant world. And now that I made it out, and in a sound mind and having the support system as well, I feel like now I am fortunate enough to be on this side of it, and now look back in it and say, hey, I'm going to tell you now, don't go about it this way.
I'm going to tell you
hey,
now.
I'm going to tell you now, don't idolize this. I'm going to tell you now, hey, don't go out of your way to overextend yourself to prove a point. I have a different perspective now. So it's more than just trying to get these girls to win. than them just coming to me and like, hey, I'm going to prepare you to win. No, baby, I'm going to prepare you to win in life. Because I need to make sure that you have a sound mind after all of this is over. We lost Chesley Christ, who was Miss USA. I forgot what her year was, but we lost her to suicide. And that's very important. And it's just like, after that happened, we should not be operating the same way that we have before. And so I'm thinking about the totality of the girls and preparing them in that way before they go compete for whatever title they want to compete for.
You're trying to sound like you're trying to make sure they are whole in this.
Yeah.
You don't lose yourself
Yeah.
in this process.
Yeah.
That's very
respectable. One of my consistent and persistent prayers that I pray to God is, God, if I'm not ready, don't move me, because I don't want to lose me. Come on.
Ooh,
come on.
That's bars.
Everybody snap. I just don't. That's always been my biggest fear, losing myself.
Yeah.
Losing myself in the process. And, and I don't want that for other people, neither.
Okay. So, I see that when you're in the pageant world, it's almost like everybody has you, like, under this microscope. Like, let's make sure she's living up to the things she say. So, what do you have to say for those people who think that you're being hypocritical by entering the pageant world on this side of the world after you said you were, done with it?
Not only did I say I was done with it, but I definitely outed them in a lot of ways.
Oh, yes.
You could go listen to some of the podcast episodes, and it wasn't in a distasteful way. It wasn't in ill manner.
It was just real.
Or it was just very real.
Was just, let's keep it a buck.
It was facts. It was the facts. That's what I stated, and I actually could have went about it in a very nasty way, but I didn't.
I thought you did it. You did it beautifully.
Yeah. Because I still covered people. I didn't say names.
You did not.
I could have said names. You know what I'm saying? Shade could have been thrown, but it wasn't shade. It was just facts. I could have been messy and outed out some even deeper, more scarier information as far as like what these individuals go through privately, but it wasn't my intent to destroy individuals more so than it was like, hey, this is actually a good organization. Girls can actually benefit from this, but what you're not going to do is pretend that this doesn't exist neither, and that and pretend as if like this can't destroy what y'all are actually presenting to the public, because it is. Because, like I said, the way or the challenges that I faced in the pageant industry, it was just kind of like, oh my God, every girl cannot go through this. There's no way that every girl could go through this, and I'm just so glad that I made it back in one piece. But for those people who are saying that I'm hypocritical for trying to still be in the pageant world after all of that has happened, it's just kind of like, look, at the end of the day, we had family members, right, who aren't perfect people. If it was your son who did something irate, crazy, but at any point in given time, if your son wanted to come back to himself, what are you going to do? Love him back to himself, support him back to himself. But you're also going to give him truth, accountability, and that's my position right now, far as the pageant world goes, is holding them accountable, presenting the truth as much as possible.
So now that you're a full-on pageant coach, what has your experience been?
Like being a pageant coach? It's been different being on this side of it. Like I said, I started when I was 17, 18 years old. Now I'm about to be 29 in a couple of months. So it's really different being on this side of it and not being able to know the inside things as much. But it's very rewarding knowing that I have this position of power to lead these girls in this direction, in the direction of positivity, peace, prosperity, outside of them trying to obtain this gold or win this crown. So it's been very rewarding. I have a hard time saying rewarding. Any like RW words, I'll be like rewind. Like I could say rewind, but yes, very rewarding. Rewarding.
So what makes you different? What makes you separate from the pack when it comes to pageant coaching? What would a pageant girl come specifically to Mikeya, Janee for?
I think they would just come to be safe. It just goes back to that question in the beginning about who is Mikeya Janee, and I am a safe space. I've realized that in the past couple of years, it's shown up in multiple ways in my fitness business, in my music, the lyrics. It's just there. It's like, oh, this is who you are. You are not only a cheerleader, but you are also an individual who just wants people to feel welcome. And I believe that when they come to me, they will have a greater sense of self, not just, oh, what do I need to do to win? It's like, no. I feel like after I left my kids, it's just like, oh my God, like I could do anything in life. And so I think that's what I know for a fact. That's what sets me apart because I've come across some pageant coaches. I've had conversations with them. I know them, and for the most part, it's just about getting the girl the crown. But we all know only one girl can win. What happens when the girl doesn't win? So like I said, just going back to making sure that the girl is whole and intact.
I love that. All right, so previously we discussed the purpose of GTA. So tell us more about this workshop coming up.
So the Glory Throne Academy Pageant Workshop, our first pageant workshop, is May 6, 2023, Florence, South Carolina, Hyatt Hotel downtown. It's going to be starting around like 12 o'clock. It'll end around like 4:35. So what's going to be going on at this event is, it's an inside-out workshop. We talked about me focusing on the totality of the individual, of the girls. So the inside portion is we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about self-confidence. We're going to be talking about uniqueness, what makes you you, individuality. And then we have the outer portion, which draws people in, what more people are focused on, which is makeup. Which my best friend, she will be giving makeup tutorials, and she did my makeup today. But a makeup tutorial by Victoria Norman, professional headshots by Brandon Williams. He's a photographer who has done all of my headshots for the most part, except like one or two. And then we also have wardrobe and styling. So we have a stylist panel with Mike D and Whitney, Victoria, some good people of mine, and I'm so excited. So that's what we can expect there. And food. I know y'all love food.
Everybody want to eat.
Everybody want to eat.
Because we hear all this time, is the food going to be
Where's
there?
the food at? Yeah, we're going to have some fun things, a 360 booth, some ice breaking, some prizes, all the things. It's going to be a very special event. I'm excited.
Okay. You should be very proud of yourself.
I am already.
So, what experience do you want your attendees to walk away with? Like, how do you want them to feel when they walk away?
I want them to feel like women, like, ooh, I'm a boss.
Yeah.
I want them to have a greater sense of self, going back to that. I want them to pay attention more to who they are, not just what they present, but who you are, then present.
Okay.
That's what I want them to walk away with. I want them to just be more confident, peace of mind, more identity of self, uniqueness, their individuality, and how to beat the space. And there's not a perfect way to do things, but there is a protocol. There is a way that people go about things. So with the professional headshots, I want them to be able to walk in any room and be able to compete with the people they're going to be in the room with. I don't want them to be like, oh my God, I didn't stand a chance in the first place. It's like, no, we're going to show you. And then styling and wardrobe, that's a little fun. So all of the things, greater sense of self, peace of mind, self-confidence. Yeah.
So tell us, how can we find access on your workshop?
Yes. So tickets will go on sale March 25th. Y'all probably watching this video before or afterwards. I don't know. But www.glorythroneacademy.com. So that's GLORYTHRONEACADEMY. We're going to put it on the screen for you. Glorythroneacademy.com. Early bird tickets are going to be on sale for 2 weeks, and then after that, regular prices. Okay?
2 weeks, y'all.
So make sure y'all get into that. We also have like some special packages, like the Queen's package. So that'll include the T-shirt, That'll include the Queen's Prayer, some goodies for backstage when they go compete, and a lot of other things. Also, too, I wanted to mention this event is not just for a pageant girl. This is for any woman, any young woman who wants to show up as her best self in any environment.
Okay.
So let's just say you go into it or you come to the event and you're just like, oh my God, I want to do pageants. And then you're just like, I don't think I want to do pageants no more. It's not going to be a waste of time. You're still going to walk away with something that's going to help you in any arena in life.
Rule the world.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay.
Welcome to the Queen Show.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay.
Welcome to the Queen Show.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay.
Welcome to the Queen Show.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay.
Welcome to the Queen